Child, I did my due diligence right here. Okay, I got the video from the court. Judge so-and-so said, not on my watch. Pay attention to the top too. But let's get into the court case today.
All right. What are we doing today?
So, Your Honor, we were going to, there's several options.
So that's Judge, okay? That's Corey Harris, the driver, and that's his new lawyer. This is not the lawyer who was in court with him last week. That's a new lawyer. And I had to speed up the talking because it was a whole bunch.
That my client.
Well, and I want you to know, counsel, that because of certain things, the court has a number of things I have to say.
Okay.
Because I think the record, given particularly some of Mr. Harris's comments with reference to this court potentially acting what at least as I'm to understand is on what some may be, or is it, let's put it this way. People are saying, and quite frankly, your client has made the assertion that,
again, you're going to see somebody at the bottom, ignore it.
the Pittsfield Township, as well as this court, was acting on some type of defective or faulty information, which I will tell you, counsel, caused the court, given what the court did, to investigate what my ruling was.
Meaning, your client went on the news and told them it was a clever error. And he was embarrassed, okay, down by the church and the community. I am embarrassed, which made the court kind of get in trouble. So the judge had to look into all this shit, and he shouldn't have had to.
And I will tell you that that assertion is absolutely correct with reference to any faulty information that either came through to the Pittsfield Township Department of Public Safety or to this court ultimately at the May 15th hearing. And I think it needs to be stated, I've been asked for comments. I have refrained from comments, as is my normal practice is. This court with the pending case will speak on the record. And so I am going to make sure that the record is very, very clear as to what this court knows and what this court acted on May 15th. And we can start with this. And my basis for doing it is because of what was said.
The client went on the news, y'all. You cannot talk to the news and make it seem like the judge fucked up, locked you up, y'all, because all of social media. He should sue the judge, sue the court. They owe him some money. No, they don't. Not at all. Because I said that man knew he did not have no license because he never went to the Secretary of State to get the damn license, even since 2022.
About what this whole process was, and that an indication, counsel, and I know, counsel, you've been before me before.
Absolutely.
I know it is not coming from you, but you also know how I am.
I do.
And the thing is that if for whatever reason, the one time in my life I was wrong, I will say it, and did. But when I'm not wrong, and when people are not to blame, then it also needs to be said. So I will try to get through this as quick as I possibly can. But I will tell you, first of all, with any reference.
Right. The judge was pissed because they questioned the integrity of the court. They questioned because he put the man in jail. So all this week since that happened, he been catching flack because people don't be paying attention to the details.
To your client having had a license on that day. And some indication or misunderstanding as to whether or not he had a license. Let me make it very clear, based upon what the court looked at, he has never had a Michigan license, ever. And has never had a license in the other 49 states and commonwealths that form up this great union. He has never had a license. In point of fact, when they suspended his license, and what people don't understand, when they suspended his license in Saginaw, they don't suspend the license. They suspend the privilege to drive in this state.
Boom. Look, I didn't want to. Y'all did not even see the full span of her. I was like, what is she doing? Child, the girl, it was so, but I could not cut her all the way off. Then I would end up cutting the judge tomorrow. So I cut her out as much as I could, but child, it was crazy. But yes, he was gonna keep lying. He was, good thing, nobody know what happened to him back in 2010 but him, because it was his case. He knew the judge at that point in time. Now they said back then he was around 19 to 20 years old, or whatever. However, still in case, you knew what they told you. Hey, your license is suspended or your privileges of driving are suspended. He knew, he just kept lying. And I told y'all that man had been driving, and so to him it was second nature. He didn't care that he did not have a license. He did not care about it being suspended. That man been driving. I said that before any. I said that's why him driving and on the phone, it was second nature, because he'd been driving.
Hence, for example, if he had had a Kentucky license, he would be able to drive everywhere that Kentucky would allow him to drive. He just couldn't drive in Michigan because his privileges had been restricted. I know you know that, but that wasn't at all said. But it doesn't matter because he didn't have a license ever. There's also then, and I will, when it is necessary, come to the defense of my sister courts, and I will come to the defense of Saginaw. They got a great chief judge. Chief judge answered the question.
Could they talk shit about the Secretary of State, the people from the other court, all that? And I'm like, I was like, y'all, I'm telling y'all, that man don't have no license. I said, because even if they reinstated his shit in 2022, he would have still had to go down to the Secretary of State to get a license, because all he had was a state ID. That man been driving with no license in Michigan forever. And when the judge said they took away the privilege of him driving in Michigan, but that man ain't had a license in no state, not in Michigan or the other 49 states.
But I will tell you, that court and its friend of the court did nothing wrong. His license was his driving privileges, better stated, were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something.
He was supposed to go get a damn license. He was supposed to go get a license, and he just kept driving.
He didn't do it. Therefore, that friend of the court was under no obligation to send anything to the Secretary of State. Now, I hated that I had to look at all of this, but when there's a question as to what I did, I'm going to look at everything to make sure that what I did was all in order.
Don't for me. It ain't my fault. Don't come for my stuff. That's that man's fault. Okay, I had to look it all up, because once that man went to when the news only looked up what was on paper. So the news is to blame too, because the news only looked up what was on paper. When it showed, hey, we can reinstate this man's license. However, he has to pay some fees for it. Nobody kept looking at the details. All that people knew was that man did not have the privilege of driving in Michigan, and he's been driving for the past 20 years with no license.
There's then an indication from that because that wasn't sent, there was a direct attack on Michigan's Department of Secretary of State's office, saying that the Secretary of State was somehow at fault. Let me tell you something. Secretary of State did what they were supposed to do. And in point of fact, they did nothing because they hadn't gotten anything from the court, because Mr. Harris had not paid the reinstatement. This week, or the latter part of last week, once he paid that, Saginaw friend of the court did what they should do, and they sent it. Immediately, based upon the information that I have, the Secretary of State did what they do every day. They took that suspension off of his driving record, and he was then unsuspended. And then your client did what he needed to do with reference to the Secretary of State and paid a reinstatement. Okay? Just a second, Mr. Schiller. I'm going to let everybody respond because
Thank you.
I am not done yet.
Okay.
All right. You're covering a lot of the points for me. Thank you, Your Honor. And so that came down to that. So the information at the time that I had, that Pittsfield Department of Public Safety had, was all correct.
Your client was the fuck up. Your client ain't do what he was supposed to do. Your client never went and did this, that, and the other. Your driving privileges were suspended in 2010. 12 years later, the suspension was going to be lifted if you paid the fees you owed. He did not pay the fees he owed, so they never lifted the suspension until all this happened, and he then was paying for shit. But people, it's because he went to the news and talked as if the judge and everybody else fucked it up. But I'm like, I told y'all last week, days ago. I said he was supposed to go down there and at least go get a license. Because here in Michigan, if your license is suspended, you have to get a new one if it expired. When they said that man's stuff had been suspended since 2010, I said he would have had to go get a license. He never went down there. That man has been illegally driving for years. Illegally.
At the time of both Pittsfield stop, as well as the May 15th day, it was all correct. There was no error by anybody. It was a failure on the part of Mr. Harris to do certain things. Now, I grant you that sometimes that can be a complicated process, but it was certainly not anybody's fault that that didn't happen other than that wasn't paid. Now, here's the other thing, and
He mad.
like maybe in church where I say I'm about finished now. But the other part of this is the stop was in October.
Again, let's do the math, y'all. License driving privileges revoked in 2010. He had the chance to get it back in 2022. He never went and paid shit. He was put over in October or November of 2023. Okay, that's 2010. 12 years later of 2022. Then a whole year later, he's put over for this issue. Okay. He in court in May. So from October of 2023 to May of 2024, that man has had 14 years to do this, to fix this shit.
Most of the cases that we've heard just in this last afternoon are driving while license suspended cases. That's part of my Wednesday afternoon. We go through great pains to try to get people their licenses back, which is really how it should happen. Between October.
Oh, let me say, I see this. But I do wonder if he did go down to DMV and had issues getting a license because the record did still. No, this is what happened because I've had my license suspended one time back in my early 20s. You have to, if you owe some, I think I had was it a ticket? I had something I owed. They will suspend your license. I had a license, but they will suspend whatever you have. If he did not have a license to drive, they will suspend your privilege to drive. You have to pay whoever you owe. When you pay whoever you owe here in Michigan, you pay them what you owe. They will then tell the Secretary of State, hey, they paid it. It can be reinstated. However, if you go to the DMV here and have not paid, they will say you have to go pay this at this place and then blah, blah, blah. They would tell you what you have to do. He never went down there. It's not no one. He never went down there to get a license.
And because I don't live under a rock, I actually watch things. You look very nice on TV.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There was something that was said That was very disturbing to me. And I'm just going to let you know because I believe in being fair with everybody. The question was asked along the lines between October of 2023 and the point in time of the May 15th hearing. Was there an attempt by Mr. Harris to correct his license? Here's the part that was disturbing for me, so that you know.
Okay.
Mr. Harris indicated that at some point he had been involved in some accident. And being involved into the accident, that he was basically bedridden or at least housebound, he could not get to the Secretary of State. That was set up there, and I'm going to presume, because my knowledge of defense counsel is, I know you don't misrepresent anything.
Right.
You never do.
Right.
That's not true.
Okay.
Meaning he's a liar. The judge like he's a liar. He's lying. Now, he lying on other shit, which is like lying on me.
He purposely stated that he could not get to the Secretary of State, which, for the way we handle things in this court, would have placed him in a whole different category. We would have tried to find a way. Let's figure it out. And the reason I know that is because Mr. Harris, on December 28th of 2023, do you know where you were?
On December 28th of 2023. Now, again, we won't do the math of the days. He got put over in October 2023. So 2 months, the judge said, sir, where were you on December of 2023?
December 23.
23rd.
2023.
I know I was laid up from my
You were
accident.
at the Secretary of State's office. And you were at the Secretary of State's office because you redid and got your new Michigan ID.
Bitch, what? What did I tell y'all days ago? What did I tell y'all? That man had an ID. He never went and got a new license. The nigga went down and got a new ID 2 months after being pulled over for driving with no license. He went to the Secretary of State to renew his ID. Came to court in May, drove the car in May on the camera with the judge, which got his ass arrested. Sir, you can't tell me you was laid up and could not get down there to get your license because your ass went down there and got your ID.
I have the date. That's the date you did it. December 28th, 2023. You did. And so that you also know, and in all fairness to counsel, because I don't know if counsel knows this or not, the way I know that he's never had a license is because May 3rd, he was 19 at the time. May 3rd, 1999, he applied for his first Michigan ID.
So you hear that? May 3rd, child, they went back, they said, Secretary of State, give us all the records on him so that when we get in here, I can run all this shit down. Okay? When that man said he applied for a license and an ID for the first time ever back in 99, he was 19 years old. Meaning me and that man the same age, because I was 17. He's 2 years older than me. The judge said he applied for the first ID in 99. Play with somebody else.
Counsel knows, so I do. You cannot have both. You either have an ID or you have a license.
Yep. Mm-hmm. At least in Michigan, I don't know about no other states. You cannot have an ID and a license. The police will confiscate one if you're caught with both.
One of the two. He has religiously every year gotten a new ID. And so he knows that he doesn't have a license.
Got him. Got him. Child, play with your mama or your daddy. Okay? Because y'all know when the judge was like, play with your mama. That man said that man has renewed his ID every year. See, you can have both, not here, not in Michigan. You can have two, but only one is valid. Only one is valid. So the judge was like, okay, I'm gonna get all the info. Because they did, because when we watched the news story when they asked him, and he said, I am embarrassed down at the courthouse of the Church of Jesus and the Peoples. I am embarrassed of the community. Sir, you've been lying this whole time. You've been lying this whole time. The judge said, I looked it up, nigga. I asked them to give me the details. You always renew your ID. You knew you never had a license.
And quite frankly, I just wish he would have said that at the beginning. And all of this hoopla could have been just put all aside. And we all go through the process as we do with all of the people coming here to try to get him his license back. But his falsehoods, misstatements are not going to fare him well in this court.
And that's why the judge is pissed. Because that man went on the news and talked cash shit, and that shit became national news. It became national news. Hey, the judge fucked up. Oh, FOC, friend of the court, fucked up. Oh, SOS, so they say, fucked up. That's why you pissed. Because like you've been lying this whole time, blaming everybody else except yourself.
I'm done for now. I'm sure I will have something else to say. Whichever one of you would like to speak first, you may.
I'll wait to go last.
Yes, I spent
Now the prosecution, and that's the cop who put him over sitting there.
yesterday at the Pittsfield Township Police Department with Officer Monaster performing the traffic stop in this case. I also noticed the December 28, 2023 date, and I know the significance of that, and the court just went through that painstakingly, and I thank you for that. In addition, at the traffic stop, when I was at the police department yesterday, we watched the body cam video.
But we watched the body cam footage.
At least twice during this traffic stop, he acknowledged to the officer that he did not have a valid license.
So again, he's on body cam footage admitting I don't have a license. But was on the news making it seem as if they fucked up. It wasn't me, it was them. They never reinstated my license.
Quote unquote, quote, actually, I don't have a valid license. Close quote. The question was, are you a valid driver? Quote, I am not. Close quote. So, you know what, this is all this hoopla and the circus atmosphere, in my opinion, it's an affront to the justice system. I mean, I've been prosecutor for more than 30 years, and to see this kind of hoopla around a driving while licensed suspended case is ridiculous. And it wasn't caused by this court. It wasn't caused by the Pittsfield Township Police Department. It was caused by the extra judicial statements made outside this courtroom.
And because of what Corey Harris said, it made everybody else have to do more work to prove they didn't fuck up. Because if they had fucked up and he sued them, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, the cop, y'all look, cops rarely show up for traffic shit. It's traffic shit. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? The cop, child, bulletproof vest and all, badge and all, crown and all. Everybody had to do more work. The cop man, Secretary of State, the judge, the clerks, everybody had to do. They all pissed. Like, sir, you've been lying since day one. You told the cop on the thing that you had a license.
Okay, so
Go ahead, counsel.
thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
And ain't nothing worse than you having a simple traffic thing and it makes more work for you. You pissed off because take this fucking fine and leave me be. But now I have a key coming back to court because you want to lie. And again, because the man lied, it became national news. So that means the bosses are now saying, "Did you fuck up? Did you fuck up? Who fucked up? Somebody fucked up."
Well, first thing I'd like to say is, very first thing is we're here, and that we
This is this new lawyer. This is not the lawyer who was in the court case back in May. This is a different lawyer. Okay, and her green looking cute.
all saw this video. I wasn't in court. I wasn't even on YouTube watching the court thing, right? I saw it because someone saw it and decided to post it. I can assure you that was not Mr. I don't think he has the capacity to be able to post it like that on YouTube or Instagram. So that was not him. And it happened to take off and go viral. So he had what we saw was him saying he was driving, which he should not have been driving, right? We're told not to drive on Zoom while doing that. So that's
he don't have a lot, child. She working hard for her money. Okay, because she also know this shit is gonna go viral. So come look at me.
That's how this came to the attention, because the court, I saw you. He said, I can't believe this. Is he driving? And we all said that. Everyone who saw that video asked the same question. And that just it became a joke. It became a complete joke. Now, with respect to what we want to do, and I cannot say anything is with respect to what my client has said, but when we talk about the hoopla, my client didn't start the hoopla. Perhaps he's made some comments, but he didn't start the hoopla.
She trying to go back at the prosecution, who's saying all this shit is his fault. And it is. Even though he did not post the court video, even though, that did not come from him, because of his actions and all of this going to court, it is his fault. Because had he just did what he was supposed to do, and had he not then talked to the news folk about it, he did create this big hoopla. Because it seemed like, why would he? Okay, so ma'am, stop it.
Whatsoever, that was someone that was outside of his control as to how it went viral.
Look at the judge, like, bullshit.
He had no control over that, and that I'm going to stand on that. He did not send it out to Instagram. He didn't send it out to wherever. He didn't do that part. So, with respect to
y'all know we love a good watch along. Y'all know I'm gonna clip this and make it a separate video, so you watching the replay, or whatever. But child, the judge like, oh Lord.
Did he have I don't want to try this case today at all. But
for the people coming in a little bit late, they did not suspend his license. They suspended his privileging driving. The words just said suspended license, but the thing was his privileges to drive here in Michigan were suspended. But he knew that. He knew that. The verbiage was one thing, but he knew what it was. So it was not his license being suspended. His driving privileges were suspended.
What I want to do is focus on what's good. Now, what was good? That day in October, this officer here, that could have gone a whole other direction. And I'm so happy that you were so kind and courteous to my client. Thank you, officer. Thank you so much.
Because thank God you didn't kill him. Because they be killing people, girl. Focus, ma'am. Focus.
Because it could have gone another direction. We are here right now. My client has an appointment to go to the Secretary of State for his permit. He's working.
Permit. Again, y'all. He has an appointment to get a permit. Now she wants give him credit. He has an appointment. Okay, to get a permit. Now y'all know here in Michigan, you get a permit. You have to drive for 30 days. I think 30 days before you can apply to get a license. Ma'am, he not innocent.
On that, I want to focus on how do we correct this and cure this? How do we go forward with this situation?
He could have paid this shit a long time ago. That's how.
Whatever, he was not under oath under any of the things that he said. So we're not talking about any type of perjury going on. Very true, right?
He wasn't under oath. This ain't perjury. Ma'am, he was on the news lying. It don't matter if it's perjury.
That's true. So with that being the case, let's move forward with this. He is here. What I'd like, this is what I'd like. Because
Counsel, let me just.
yes.
Hold up. Look, she's a good lawyer. She's a good lawyer. She's like, I gotta pivot. Because he's in, it's you know what I'm saying? While it's little bitty, itty bitty shit, it's still gonna be big shit too. She's like, let me pivot. Okay, I'm gonna get my pivot on.
I'd like to move forward too
Yes.
on this case. We handle these cases all the time. But I will tell you, as you know, having appeared before me, the one thing I don't like is when people don't take responsibility for what they've done. When they take responsibility for it, we will use whatever we can to try to get you to another spot because it doesn't behoove any of us for you to be in that spot. One other thing that I will say, when you say it wasn't started by him, oh, it certainly was. It certainly was when he made his first statement to WXYZ.
WXYZ is our news station here.
About blaming people for this happening. And he shouldn't have done it. Because when you look at the whole thing, the person that needed to be blamed, and we can go back to a lot of other points, but I'm not here to embarrass it, but the person that needed to be blamed is the person that he was staring at in the mirror.
Himself. It was on him, not on us.
He didn't do what he should have done. And that's okay. The majority of people that come here on a licensing didn't do what they were supposed to do. That's like a given. They don't go about blaming anybody. They just say, Your Honor, I didn't pay the ticket. Your Honor, I just didn't do it. I just didn't have the time to do it. I just didn't take whatever.
And usually, sometimes here, I don't go to court for tickets. I ain't gonna take a long time. But I do the folks who have. And usually, if you're upfront about whatever happened, sometimes they do, okay, cool, you didn't pay it. Pay it in 15 days. Next. Some judges will try to work with you if you're honest. He people that you lied and been lying.
Right? Just own it. Once you own it, then it becomes a whole lot easier just to move forward. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted you and I said I wouldn't, but my court.
I know who you are and I respect that. So where I am is where I've always been. Because I can assure you that when he did speak to WXYZ that day, I wasn't representing him. I was representing him yesterday, right? And you would heard my message is that,
ma'am, there was never a clerical. I keep seeing folks saying that there was never a clerical. Have you not been watching? It was never a clerical error. It wasn't a clerical error. The man never had a license. So there was never a clerical error. All he had to do was pay the people he owed to get a license. So I don't want anyone thinking, oh, there was never the news story saying it was a clerical error. That was the error. The only error in this was the news saying it was a clerical. That's not true. There was never a clerical error. He never had a license. They suspended his driving privileges. So I don't want anyone having the wrong narrative. He never had a license. Everything that's happening right now is because he did not do something. He did not pay who he had to pay from 2010 to 2024. His driving privileges, not a license. Child, let me stop, because comprehension is all we can try for. See, maybe this guy, they didn't hear all stuff. They didn't hear the long explanation of the man never had a license. So I'm gonna let it go.
What steps are to correct this? And that's what I'm about, Your Honor. How do we correct this, right? I understand the entire process. I have not gone into detail, but I will take the word of
Because the Secretary of State showed that man going every year to renew his ID. That's how we know he never tried to get a license.
the court
Oh, but there's more, you know.
and of Mr.
But sometimes folk come in and they say things, and I don't want there to be confusion. So I try to clear shit up. So anybody watching from here on out, that man never had a license. So there was no clerical error. The news that said that was the error.
It said, what steps are to correct this? And that's what I'm about, Your Honor. How do we correct this, right? I understand the entire process. I have not gone into detail, but I will take the word of the court and of Mr. Stiller here, brother counsel, and about the background and the history of it. But how do we go forward? And that's why I'm here to sort of minimize. You okay? He did get into an accident.
Sit
May
down. You can sit down.
please, Your Honor. Right behind. Oh, hold on. Okay.
I would have been asked for a chair.
And now that's real. That's a real injury.
I have no comment.
You're
Okay.
like, okay,
So
that's fine.
what we're looking for, because there are some options here. My client has indicated to me and would like me to indicate to the court that he is in the process of procuring his license. Oh, hopefully that privilege will be available to him, but he does have, as you stated earlier, and I have the receipts. He did pay the reinstatement fee. Those fees are paid. Anything that was out in the previous court, those fees have been paid, and I've been presented with those receipts. In addition, on tomorrow, he's got his permit test coming up, and then after that, because he's an adult, he's working on it so that he can take advantage of the offers that are available, because as you say, this court does want to help. Absolutely. And with that, because my client was in an accident, and I haven't seen the medical records, but because of some of the things it could be, I don't know. But sometimes our memories get a little foggy now.
Child, she thought everything. His maybe the memory, some things, we don't know. We're gonna figure. Child, he throwing everything at the kitchen sink. Okay, child, look, y'all. We're gonna stop trying to convince somebody of what's factual. We've said it. We've said the factual things, and when folk keep asking the same question, we're gonna just ignore it.
Am I going back to 1999? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm saying from this day forward, he is working diligently to take the steps necessary to get his driver's license so he can take advantage of the generous offer. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
I
Mr.
hate to
Simpson.
say this, Your Honor, one additional thing. I think Fletcher Cox and I need to approach the bench. It may involve Mr. Allen.
Who's Mr.
I
Allen?
know because I know what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Well, who's Mr. Allen?
That's my bailiff.
Oh,
I will give out whatever date I can.
okay.
Counsel, you probably didn't know this, and I wasn't sure where the prosecutor was going to bring. He's got a warrant.
Y'all, he also has a warrant.
No, I did not know.
Yes, he has a warrant for his arrest.
It was at Allen Park.
Bench warrant out of
Allen Park.
Mr. Allen.
24th District.
So, driving with no license. He also has a warrant in the county in Allen Park.
Court.
Okay.
The shocking thing about it, for a driver with a license suspended, that he didn't take care of.
Okay. Well, like I said,
So-
he wants to handle.
So
The judge like, so you up here caping for that man. He not doing the due diligence.
what it is that, and it's a valid warrant. I happen to be within their radius of pickup. Now, having said that, I don't know if they will pick him up.
Okay.
I will say that what should have happened, I'm not going to go through and try to figure out whether it did happen, but when he was arrested, when he turned himself in on my revocation of bond, upon being released, he should have been apprised, warned and released to go take care of it. I don't know whether he was. I really don't care whether he was or not. All I know is that was back at mid-May, and it hasn't been taken care of.
So again, another situation when they like stuff is going on and he's not handling it. You know, so he has another warrant. So he has to go to jail.
And it's still valid. I was hoping maybe that somebody was going to try and take care of it, because I'm sure if you had known, they would have been done. So much so that part of my delay in getting out of here was to make sure that it was valid. I had my staff run him right before I came out.
Again, a point of you having to do more work. Okay, I gotta do more work because you on some bullshit. My court clerk, me, everybody doing extra. Why? Because you went to the news and said we fucked up. And now we have to be sure that we show, no, sir, it is you.
So that if it hadn't gotten taken care of and in, then fine, we were okay and I didn't need to deal with it.
Right.
But it's still there.
Okay.
So, will July 17th work as a new date for you? Come back, because as I understand it, he is right now not licensed. So if he goes in on Thursday, gets his permit, he's got to drive for at least 30 days. Apparently he knows how to do that part.
Shady.
Sorry, that was, I'm sorry, I didn't need to say that, but he knows how to do that part, but then he's got to go back, take the test.
Right.
And then he can do that. He may be able to accomplish it in that time, that 45-day period. If not, I mean, counsel, I just want him to have a license.
We all want the same thing. One moment. So the 17th, it may not be me. It would be another attorney from my office who can
Well, I don't want that.
try.
I don't want that.
You want me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. You'll never hear me say that. but I don't want to go through this whole, you understand it.
Right. No, I get it. So I started trial on the 15th. And
What's my date after the 17th?
August 7th.
What about August 7th? We can just put it out and then he can do what he's going to do or not do what he's going to do, but he should be able to.
August 7th at 1 o'clock, or would it be at 9 a.m.?
I will set it at 9. We will send an invite now that we have your appearance. So you'll get a direct invite from us as to what time block he's in.
The judge said, no, I don't want not another lawyer because I don't want to have to go over all this shit again. You and only you. When is your next opening? Okay? We want you here.
Okay, and then I just need one moment to talk to my client. You want to tell me something?
Now, y'all kept asking about the person in the bottom screen. Look, the feed is on, where is it? It's on YouTube. Okay. So I'm gonna cut the sound off. So when I tell y'all that there was a person, as y'all see in that bottom screen, I was like, oh, why is there somebody in the bottom screen, Jesus? And then, wait, did I already miss it? I want to be sure. Hold on now. Let me get into it. Because the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, is that his wife? I was like, who is the person in the bottom box? And I was like, that was somebody who was just on the Zoom and just watch. I was like, you ain't want to leave? I'm like, maybe she did not know we can see her. But child, as she let me speed it up. Because it's the fact that she was like this in the picture. And I'm like, what did you doing? I'm walking around and everything like it's child. Ma'am, what did you do? You not know? We can see you. So again, I don't know who that person is. Okay, at all. And I don't know if she realized, ma'am, You was all on her, but I could not cut her out fully because again, it would have got, the whole thing. However, pause on that. Outside of, let me be sure I'm removing the right things. I want to show y'all one last thing. We're gonna be done because it's been a long day. I want to show y'all the new, because the reason the judge was more, because we seen the one news story he did the first time. No, his wife was in the room with him. We'll see the wife in this one. Okay, we will see the wife in this one. But he still was talking to the news and was being stupid. So this is why the judge was pissed off.
Twist for the man who went viral for driving during a virtual court hearing for a suspended license.
Corey Harris showed up in person at a Washtenaw County courthouse today, hoping to set the record straight and put this entire saga behind him. Instead, we're reporting on a brand new chapter.
7 News Detroit reporter Kimberly Craig has been keeping up with the twists and turns of this one. She was in court today as it all unfolded.
Well, nothing went the way Corey Harris thought it was going to go in court today. The judge started off by slamming Corey Harris, saying he's never even had a valid driver's license. And the afternoon ended with Harris going to jail.
The person that needed to be blamed is the person that he was staring at in the mirror. He didn't do what he should have done.
Right? The bailiff.
The judge came ready to set the record straight with Corey Harris, who has claimed that he thought the suspension on his driver's license was removed 2 years ago.
That court and its friend of the court did nothing wrong. His driving privileges were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it.
The judge said Harris never paid his clearance fees with the court or the Secretary of State to lift the suspension. But that's not all.
He has never had a Michigan license. Ever.
We asked Harris yesterday if he ever had a valid driver's license.
So again, the news talked to the people, to the man. Sir, did you ever have a license?
He claimed he didn't remember. Do you ever recall having one? Having a driver's license?
I knew I had a permit. I knew that.
A driver's permit or?
I believe. I don't know. I can't say yes and I can't say no.
And that's
when somebody asks you, hey, did you ever have a license? If you ever had one. So when he said, I don't know. I can't recall. That means no.
Because the Pittsfield Township police officer and prosecutor said during that October.
That's his wife. So the person on the Zoom, that's the wife. That's the wife he said was having medical issues. He had to take her to the hospital, to the doctor, whatever. But again, they asked, let me rewind for the folk in the back. He had one. He did not.
With the court or the Secretary of State to lift the suspension. But that's not all.
He has never had a Michigan license. Ever.
We asked Harris yesterday if he ever had a valid driver's license. He claimed he didn't remember. Do you ever recall having one? Having a driver's license?
I knew I had a permit. I knew that.
A driver's permit or?
I believe. I don't know. I can't say yes and I can't say no.
And that's odd because the Pittsfield Township police officer and prosecutor said during that.
You didn't got me, Corey. You didn't got me up in this courthouse because you want some bull stuff, and now we all on TV and on the news. Got me up in my good hair wrap because you want to get caught driving me around.
October traffic stop, Corey Harris knew what was up.
At least twice during this traffic stop, he acknowledged to the officer that he did not have a valid license. Quote unquote, quote, actually, I don't have a valid license. Close quote. The question was, are you a valid driver? Quote, I am not.
There was no error by anybody. It was a failure on the part of Mr. Harris to do certain things. Now, I grant you that sometimes that can be a complicated process, but it was certainly not anybody's fault that didn't happen other than that wasn't paid.
Then came the unexpected.
He has a
Child, the bailiff.
warrant for his arrest.
Corey Harris was taken into custody for
The bailiff bitch. You know a man fine from the side. You hear me?
what appears to be a 10-year-old bench warrant out of Allen Park.
So was I shocked? Absolutely. Did I want my client to walk in and then get escorted to the back? Absolutely not. That was not the plan.
The shocking thing about it, for a driving while license suspended, that he didn't take care of.
It should be something that a lesson for all of us.
That's his lawyer, up close to the lawyer. Okay, look, thorough. We ain't no quick shit around here. Okay, that's how mistakes happen. Okay, we're gonna get into it around here. So first of all, I'm gonna take a day of work and go down that man courthouse and see the bailiff.
Handle your business. At the end of the day, handle your business.
Period. Okay, because the only person fault this was, boom, him. Not even the wife. You know, because she didn't do nothing besides marry that man. But when they ask you point blank, hey, do you have a license? Did you ever have one? I guess. I don't know. Like something I don't know. I don't know the square root of 79. Okay, I don't know the secret sauce in Popeye's red beans and rice. Okay, I don't know if Jesus were sandals with the thong in between toes or some slide ins. I don't know that. There are a few things I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to braid correctly. You know, but what I do know is when I went down to get my license. I know I may not remember the exact day or the exact year, but I do know for a fact I went down and got a license at least one time. I went and got an ID one time too. I got my ID first when I was a teenager, and then my license. And the one time my license got suspended, I then had an ID for about maybe 3 months. And then when I got my license back, I had to go back down and I renewed my license because my birthday had passed. So once the news folks said, "Sir, did you ever like?" Because I think they then knew they had it wrong. They went by the thing, and when Miss Dion Webster Cox, okay, came in her good green, okay, her good slick back, okay, a natural beat of the makeup, okay, flawless eyebrows, okay, natural lip around here, and said, "Just do what you're supposed to do. Handle your business. Handle your business."